He getting worship in the heavens by the angels. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He feed the birds of the heaven, he'll feed you. When you was broke, he paid your bills when they was overdue. I put my trust in God, y'all be believing you. I put my trust in God, cause he'll see it through. I trust in God cause he delivered me from addiction. I was sick in my sin, his love is my prescription. What kind of man forgives killers at his crucifixion? So I had to die to myself, I guess it's the benediction. My trust in God remove me from the devil's jurisdiction. You say you trust him, but you're stressing, that's a contradiction. If faith's your gun, trust is your ammunition. Be a vicious of men is the greatest commission. You put the trust in tradition and have you out of position. When your trust in him is solid, bump the opposition.
Hi guys, it's your girl Latoya Renee and you're tuning into Sisters Can We Talk. This show is an empowerment show that allows us to share each other's testimonies with each other. I believe that each victory or each testimony leads into victory, and sometimes we may not know why we're going through a certain trial or a certain season, but in the reality of all, it is to get God's glory. So today I would like to introduce my guest, Miss Melissa. Yay! I am so excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you're able to share your testimony. Some people are afraid of their testimonies, but just me talking to you, you like to share it to inspire, to motivate others who might be going through the same thing or who has gone through the same thing and needs healing. So let's first tell me about your testimony. Let's start off as when you was young.
Oh goodness, that's a lot of years to cover. I think the main thing is that as a young person, I was a Navy brat.
Yes.
And got to have that experience of growing up in a pretty normal family, as normal as you can say my family is. They'll all get that. But really, was really blessed with some great parents and a good strong family. I was able to be led to Christ in Albany, Georgia, at a church called Good News Baptist Church, and really wasn't going through like the things that a lot of kids experience, unfortunately, nowadays, but was really looking for that security and stability. I think that God leads people to Him through, everybody has that own little kind of thing they're trying to fill.
Yeah.
And for me, it was stability and security. And so I found the Lord at a young age. Doesn't mean I didn't have this kind of thing all through my life, all through those teen years.
Yeah.
And then as a young adult, got married very early. Married somebody that I should not have married, honestly. Was a person who was struggling with their own demons.
Can I say this?
Sure.
Did you a lot of people say that's our red flags. Did you see red flags when you met your...
Yes. Yeah, because when we dated, I saw anger issues and I saw emotional issues. But I was the type A kind of student and type A person that wanted to love everybody and try to fix everybody and had that positive personality.
Yes.
And so I thought, I can help him with my family being as close as they were and as loving. I can fix this. And what he really needs is a good, close family.
But a lot of ladies do that.
Yes.
A lot of ladies feel like, I see the good qualities in him, so let me try to help you.
Yes.
Try to fix you to be a better person, but in all reality, we can't fix nobody.
Exactly. I thought I can fix this person, and I also made excuses for this behavior. Well, the person acts this way because this is the disadvantages that they had growing up compared to this great life that I had growing up. So the reason that you act this way is because you didn't have this great childhood, and because you were exposed to these terrible things that I can't fathom. And so, and you're sorry. Oh, you're sorry that you did this. Well, because you're sorry, shoot, let's just do it again. Right. So I think that was part of it as well. And also the mistake that I made and the ownership that I had to take in it was that I didn't tell anybody.
Why?
I think that there were several reasons. One is because I was embarrassed that I was letting it happen to me. I didn't want to burden my family. I didn't want to burden my friends. I took responsibility for it.
How did that make you feel by keeping it to yourself?
I think that it just made me feel responsible for it. And I also was still of that belief that I could fix it and that it was going to stop. Because when it wasn't happening,
it was good.
It was good. And also because we were presenting this fake front We were involved in our church.
Yeah.
So we were presenting this fake front to church, and I have since learned so much about presenting fake fronts to the church and presenting fake fronts to our family and our friends and how terrible that is. But it's a cycle that you get in, and there truly is this whole domestic violence cycle of the honeymoon phase, and then the beat the crap out of you phase, and then the I'm so sorry phase.
What was the first time that you encountered him being abusive?
Before we were married.
Wow.
Yeah, before we were married. And it wasn't that type of abuse where like it escalates. So it was just a little kind of, headbutt thing, you know, and, like, which sounds like so just atrocious now saying it out loud. But that's one of the things that I tell people now, and I try really hard to be vocal about, is that if anybody tells you that they're being abused, if anybody tells you this happened or this incident happened to me, number one, believe them.
Yes.
And number two, understand that what they are verbalizing to you is just the tip of the iceberg, because no one, and I hate saying no one, always, never, but very few people
will tell you the whole
story because it's too embarrassing.
Yeah.
To this day, I still have never said things that happened to me.
Right.
And I'm as close to my sister, other than my husband, I'm as close to my sister as I am to anybody.
Yeah.
And there are things I still have not verbalized to my sister that happened to me in my first marriage.
Now, when you decided to get married, was there hesitation? Was there... No?
I jumped right in.
Really?
Because I still had that full-on belief that this person only acted this way because of the way they were raised, and that once they got into a stable relationship, once they got into a relationship, that I could love him out of it. I could fix it out of him.
So when did you realize that you wasn't able to fix
I stayed married to him for 15 years.
Wow.
I got out and went back.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I got out. I was completely out. And believed, and you also have to remember that there's a lot of times when women stay or women go back or women believe they can't leave because of financial situations.
Right.
And so I think that really when I went back that second time, the time I got out and went back, I really believe a lot of that was financial based.
Yeah.
But I think that you get to the point where, especially if you've been in it a long time, maybe you own a home together, or maybe they're almost holding you financially hostage.
Yeah.
And I think that
happens.
happens.
Did you feel like he was holding things above your head?
Always. I think a lot of times people stay because you have that financial tie, because you have that, I'm going to tell your whole family what you've done in the past. There's just so many ways that you can be held hostage. And so I think that that's part of how I speak out about it. And one of the things I want to say is that, listen, no matter what you're being told, they're lies.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really want people to understand if they're in a situation. Number one, you can get your kids out safely. Like, I didn't have kids until the very end.
Right.
I had adopted my youngest son at that point.
Tell me
After
about that, about you not having children. Was it due to abusive or infertility?
No, that was infertility. But it was God's protection. I look back, and I'm telling you, I would lay on the floor and weep and cry. And I can just see God. You know those emojis or memojis, whatever they're called, the one that's got the hand over the face? I think God has a memoji of himself. I'm going to tell you, God has a memoji, and I hope people aren't offended by me being so flippant, but I'm saying this in almost jest. But I think God has a memoji of himself doing this just for me. He's like, Melissa, girl,
only knew.
What are you thinking? This is God's emoji for me. But I could just I would lay on the floor and just weep. And I had 11 unsuccessful pregnancies, 8 miscarriages, and 3 tubal pregnancies. And I think that God was just looking at me going, first of all, why do you think I'm going to bring a child into this marriage?
Yes.
But then I'm thinking that he's like, I have a plan for you. Would you just chill? Like, I think sometimes God's like, Melissa, I got a plan. I got a purpose. We have a history of successes together. Could you just chill? Let me be in control.
Yeah.
You are not God.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you was in that relationship that some ladies, if I bring in another person, if I get pregnant, it would be better? Did you feel that way?
I don't think I purposely thought that. I don't remember ever a time thinking, if I get pregnant, he'll stop.
Right.
I do know that I never ever thought he would hurt a child. His anger never was directed at anybody but me.
Wow.
And I know that after he had other relationships, he never directed anger at another woman. He solely was angry at me. Whatever his purpose was me.
Because your light is so great.
Oh.
You know, your smile, everything about you, it just lights up the place. Do you think that he saw that and was like, I'm going to try to dim your light because it's so great and so powerful?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I do know for a fact that because I have talked to people he's been with since, and then I know that he never has ever hurt another woman.
Wow.
So
wow.
I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled by that. But I do know that it was me. And that caused a lot of inward
I was going to say that, yeah.
You know, I have gone back and looked over and wondered, like, did I do something? Did I cause something? You know, like, it made me a little concerned afterwards, you know, when we did finally get divorced and it was finally completely over. You know, I was a little leery after getting into another relationship, and so when I started dating after marriage, I was like, is this going to happen again? Am I going to cause this? Did I cause this? But so it did take some soul searching and some, you know, good counseling with some women that I met with after.
A lot of ladies that I hear, they always think it was them.
Yeah.
You know, and the guys will make them believe that it was something that they did, but really, you guys didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And I did get some counseling, and I felt good. I got some good Christian counseling after that, and I did, you know, and the Lord really gave me some good peace about that, and the Lord has really worked on my heart, and I think that's why I felt okay about that, and I felt good about that since.
Yeah. You said, whoa, okay. I was going to skip something, but you are married.
I am.
So tell me.
I am.
Tell me about, because I can't believe this story.
Yes. I call that my blessing.
Yes, but it took you, okay, you can say it, because the amount of time it took you guys to get married was like, whoa.
It's so crazy. Don't do it. I don't recommend it, but, you know, God said yes. So I have to tell you the funny part about it. So I met my husband like in May. He always says, what year? And sometimes I say to him, how old am I? Because I'm so bad about years and stuff. So I met him in May of 2004. And he likes to tell everybody that I stalked him at the ballpark. He tells everybody that. And he even jokes and says, I think she had some night goggle vision glasses stuff, but that's not true. But anyway, so yes, I met him in May of 2004 at the ballpark. He was the T-ball commissioner, and my youngest son was playing T-ball. And our oldest son was playing T-ball, but that was so he had his son, my son, both playing T-ball. And I was the scorekeeper and he was the commissioner. So he always says that I was like going game to game to game to watch him. Not true. Don't believe those crazy lies of this man. But so we met, and 7 weeks later, met
and married.
Not known each other, but met, and then 7 weeks later we eloped.
Okay, so my question.
Now we've been married for 16 years. He'll be so proud of me for knowing the numbers.
Look, my question is, after all you've been through.
I know.
After all the
craziness.
Yes.
Craziness.
And hell you went through.
Yes.
You saw this man and just knew.
It is insane. And also, do not recommend, he did not know Jesus. So do not do that, unequally yoked.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But God said.
Yes.
God said. I was listening. Don't do it. But yes. Crazy. Wow. And now he's pastor.
Right.
Let's be clear. Pastor, he's my pastor. He should be your pastor if you don't have one. But anyway, so yes. So yes. Crazy. Just crazy. So just like the first part of my life was a crazy whirlwind, but for the bad. Second part of my life is my blessing.
Yes. So tell me about your relationship now, because it's a total, 180, 360.
Yes. Crazy. It is just 100% different. So we minister together, we work together, like we're constantly together. I have like my day job, which I love and adore, but like my ministry is with my husband. So he pastors our church. We church planted in 2011.
Wow.
Acts 2 Church here on the west side. And we are just a group of crazy, mixed up people who love Jesus. And it's so good because we just want to remind people like my husband uses this great analogy. You know, God delivered me out of this mess that I was in, and he can deliver everybody. And I think that people get so bogged down in the mess that they're in. So, you know, maybe they're on drugs, maybe they are in a domestic violence situation, maybe they are married to somebody and they are messing around with somebody else, or maybe they're just, they can't afford a divorce, or maybe they're just, whatever situation they're in, they forget that God's grace is for everybody. And guess what? Whatever mess you're in, God knows already. It's not like you're hiding it from him. It's not like you're going, okay, well, I'm going to put God here and I'm going to go over here and do junk. No, God knows what you're doing, and it doesn't matter.
I can remember trying to hide. And then I had like an aha moment. You can't hide from God. He's everywhere. So Lord, just let me tell you how I'm feeling right now, since you already know.
And you know what? He had enough grace for that. Because it doesn't matter what you're doing, God has grace for you, and God can deliver you from whatever mess you're in. And so my husband uses this great story about delivery, because people in different denominations are afraid of the word delivery and victory.
Come on, Miss Melissa.
And let me tell you, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what your religion is, I don't care what your geographical location is. Delivery and victory are good. And delivery. Think about pizza. My husband uses this great story. Think about pizza. Pizza delivery is good. Your pizza is here at the pizza place. They deliver your pizza to your house. That's a good thing. Okay, God doing it is 100 times better. God has you in this place. God delivers you to this place. Delivery is good.
Do you believe that all the stuff that you went through made it easier for you to minister to people who are broken?
It's what made me able to minister. It's not just better, it's the reason I can. God brought me through trials so that I can see other people in their mess and can tell them, get out. You can get out. And not just domestic violence. Because guess what? I still suffer. As a Christian, I still have troubles. Because number one, I'm human. Number two, I'm a mother.
Hello.
At bigger children, bigger problems. Like, and they're boys. Oh my good Lord. Like, if that isn't enough to make you pray every day. Like, hello, children. You know, and I love my husband, but hello, I'm a wife. And I'm a wife who has a day job. I'm a wife who helps my husband with our ministries. I'm a wife who is a mother. I'm a wife who has a ministry of my own. I have a homeless ministry, and they like to need things too. And I have given some of them my phone number, so like I got things, right? And I love my family, and I love my friends, and I want to just my two favorite hashtags are love all, serve all, and that's all I want to do, because I think that we get delivered, we tell other people they can be delivered, we remind them that in deliverance is still suffering, and then we have to work, because you still have to work, and so in working you're going to love all and serve all, so that's a lot.
Oh my God. Right?
And in doing all that, we have to still like keep it together ourselves. Like, that's a lot.
It is a lot, especially, I mean, of course guys go through a lot, but
of course,
come on. You know, and I believe that with God's love and God's grace, that we can do anything. As long as we put Him first and seek the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, then everything will be added on to us. He give us His strength. He give us His peace that passes all understanding.
That's a great point. People will ask me sometimes, like, how do you get all that stuff done? And I'm like, it ain't me. Because I love coffee. Don't get me wrong. I will drink some coffee all day long, and coffee helps me. But it's only through God's grace that I get my things done. And there's days, you know, my husband, I'll be like, my husband just said last night that he said, there's some stuff around the house I felt like I didn't get done. This, like, he's got all these due things.
Yeah.
He like, you know, he's working on a camper that we got. He's got some a gate that he needs to fix, like, cause he's like a man's man. He gets all these house things done. You know, he's got all this building stuff he's doing, right? So he's building the kingdom, but he's also building
the house,
things, right? Yeah. So he's like, there's some things I wanted to get done this week I didn't get done, and I feel that way a lot of times. There's things I need to get done that I haven't gotten to, but all the other things I'm getting accomplished, it's only through God.
Yeah.
Like, He gives me the strength strength, because somebody's like, you guys are always going. I'm like, but we're only always going because of God. Like you always have to add that last thing. Everything is but God. Everything is because of God. Everything is through God's grace. Like, you can't say, man, Melissa and Tub get a lot going. No,
don't you put that glory on me. All glory goes to him.
It's all this, you know. No, I don't do nothing. Like me, I'm just kind of lazy. I'm kind of lazy. No, I'm gonna stay in the bed. See y'all.
If I could, I would stay in the bed.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially now that it's getting dark, you know, at 4 o'clock.
Oh my God, I go to bed at 7. I'm like, I feel so tired.
Like, why am I so
dark.
tired?
I'm in the bed, and I'm like, dang, it's only 6 o'clock. Well, I might as well. Well, I'm already in here.
Exactly. Like, you know, I didn't want to go to bed at 6, but it's dark.
I'm here. I got my PJs on. And children put the bed. They acting, looking at me like, why, Mom? It's
like, Mom, I just ate lunch. Why'd you put us to bed?
It's dark. Go to bed. I just love your testimony. I love your energy. I love your smiles. I was telling you beforehand that I was going to spiritual warfare, just try to get to this point, but just to be in your presence and just know that His grace is sufficient, you know.
Yes, so abundant.
He's just an awesome. Not only is my God, but He's my Father, and He knows all, and He sees all, and He protects me. In fact, you had a quote. You said, "God protected me, delivered me through every bit of heartache, because He had a plan for me and a purpose for my life."
That's so true.
Yes.
Oh, I said that?
Yes.
Oh, dang. That's pretty good. That's true, though. He did. I think that, you know, I look back and I look at times when I literally was in a fetal position on the ground, like getting kicked, or, you know, just dumb decisions I made. You know, just looking back over my life, and I think, God, you let me live through that, or you brought me through that. And I look back now and I know the reason is solely because he has a plan. Yeah. He had a plan and a purpose and things that He wants to accomplish through me, and that's fine. And that's a good thing to remember too. Now that you say that, you know, you bring this to mind to me. On days that are hard, you know, and that's a good thing. I'm gonna watch this video. I'm gonna watch this video and I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna remember that I said that, because if that wasn't so long, I'd tattoo that on me somewhere. I might do some tattoos. But that's too long to tattoo. But on hard days, that's good to remember. Yeah. Because sometimes you need that push when you're like, you look up at that sky. I can remember when my husband told me that he felt like God called him to plant a church. I literally walked out into the driveway of our house, and I looked up at the sky. Now, I'm not foolish. I know God's everywhere. Yeah. But I walked out into the driveway, and I looked up at the sky. I'm like, God, you mean this Melissa and Tub? Like, are you sure? Like, there's not a Melissa and Tub somewhere else that you're calling? Like, we didn't get the wires crossed up. Like, this Melissa and Tub. Like, I literally said that out loud in my driveway. Yeah. Like, you know us. Yeah. We're going to jack this up. Yeah. Like, we are a mess. You want us to start a church. So that's good, because, you know, on those hard days, you need to remember that God's got this. He knows you. He knows you. He knows your junk.
He knows what He puts in you. He knows what you went through. Because I do believe each testimony that we go through is for His glory. It's for us to learn. It's something. It's for us to be able to preach or minister to somebody, you know. Yeah. I believe that each testimony is just not just for us to, you know, it's for a reason. It's for a purpose. Just like you said, it's for a purpose in our life. Yeah. And God has this thing where everybody, I don't care who you are, you have purpose.
Yeah, and I think that you have purpose and you have hope. And I think that people need to know that there's hope. Yeah. Like, we get so discouraged and we think that there's no way out. And I think that our purpose and what we need to do with our testimonies is take them off that shelf and go give them to somebody. Like, you need to think of your testimony as a gift. Yeah. And you need to take that testimony and go give it to somebody and let them use it. And when you give them that testimony to use, they're going to use it for their own hope. Yeah. And they're going to say, all right, I see your testimony here. Now I see what you did with it, and I'm going to use it too. And they're going to use that as a gift. And then once they're done using it, it's like one of those reusable gifts. then they're going to use it for their life, and then they're going to take that and they're going to give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's just that gift that just, you know that friendship bread that people got, they were making like in the 90s or whatever, where they're going to take a gift, they're going to give that bag to somebody, they're going to give that bag to somebody, it's that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're just going to give that as a gift and keep using it, and it's just going to keep going. And that's what you got to do with your testimony. Because if you just leave it sitting on that shelf, that's not what God gave it to you for.
That's not what He gave you for it.
No.
And I think the reason why this show is my baby is because if you can do it and get delivered, and if I can do it and get delivered, that means you can do it and get delivered. And there's nothing that God won't bring you through. But sometimes it takes for us to see somebody else get through it.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you in the room by yourself and it's dark and you're not around anybody, so many things play in your mind and your head.
Yeah, the devil.
Yes.
Listen, the devil is a liar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
The devil is a liar, and he is real, and he will tell you that worked for her, but it ain't gonna work for you because blah blah blah. But that's a lie.
Right.
That is a lie.
Yes.
And that's what I think that people are so quick to believe that God is real, and they'll be like, oh, God can do this and God can do that and God is real, but you want to turn it around on the flip side and say that the devil's not real. Well, then you need to read your Bible.
Yes.
Because the devil is real and the enemy is real, and the enemy wants you not to succeed. If you're a Christian, the enemy wants to ruin your testimony.
Yes.
If you're a Christian, the enemy wants you not to succeed. But if you are not yet with God, then the devil doesn't want you to be with God.
Yes.
And the enemy doesn't want you to hear the word, and the enemy doesn't want you to believe that you have hope. But you need to believe that God is real and God has hope and God can deliver you.
Yes.
And the enemy's going to block you and put boundaries in front of you and put roadblocks in front of you and tell you not to watch this show. The enemy's going to tell you, don't believe that can happen to you. That happened to her, but it's not for you, and that's not true.
It's a lie.
It is a lie.
It's a lie.
And and that's the same thing with the lies that people tell you that you can't get out of domestic violence. Lies that people tell you that you can't be delivered. That's a lie.
Yeah.
You can, and you just have to hold on to that hope. And if it happened to me, if it happened to you, if it happened to your neighbor, if it happened to your family member, it's for you too.
Yeah.
Grace is for everyone.
Yes. I was just going to ask you, what would you say to someone that is in a domestic situation, man or female? What would you say to them right at the moment where they feel hopeless?
Well, I say this as a survivor and not as a professional. I never want anybody to think that I'm like giving all this professional advice, but as a survivor and you're feeling hopeless, I would say that God sees you. And that's that whole thing that you are not alone. God does see what you're going through, and that there is hope, and your friends will believe you. I think that was the hardest thing for me, is that you don't have to do it alone. So on top of God being there, it's not your fault, no matter what lies you're being told. You're not going to be financially helpless. You can take your children. Come up with a safety plan, and tell somebody. Just tell somebody. Trust somebody to tell them. I should have done all those things. I should have, looking back, it's so easy to see that I, as I mentioned before, I came from, and I have the most amazing family. I think probably telling my dad would not have been the best thing, because my dad probably would have went over there and handled things in his own very South Carolina way. So that probably would not have been the best choice. But however, I very much so should have told my sister way earlier.
Then what you
because she could have helped me with a plan and could have helped me get out. But again, I wanted to fix it myself. I wanted to solve it. But a lot of things with God I want to fix myself. I'm still 54 years old and have been walking with God for a long time, and that's probably my biggest struggle, is I want to control things. I want to fix things myself. I want to not bother God with it. And God's like, girl, like, what are you thinking? I'm right here. I see it. I've got it under control. And sometimes I'm like thinking, God's like, why don't you back up? I got this. I all the time.
I think we spend so many times trying to hold it together on our own that we stay in a certain season longer than expected. Because we just trying to figure it out on ourselves. And the Lord's like, you gonna give it to me or not?
I think we're in His way.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
I think we're in His way.
95% of the time.
But, people always say we get in our own way. How many times we get in God's way? Yes.
That's me.
Same.
My
husband says I worry about. My husband says if I don't have something to worry about, I make it up. her. And she's like, if you don't have something to worry about, you're just gonna make something up to worry about. I'm like, you're probably right. And so then he always likes to say, worry is a sin. I know, yes. Yes.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for being my guest today. I had so much fun just hearing your testimony and your overcoming. And we're gonna have to hang out sometime.
Yes, I know. We'll have to get lunch. We'll have to do this again. Just for fun.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Sister Can We Talk. I do want to make it clear that if you are in a domestic situation, there's always help. And in fact, we are going to post some websites and some phone numbers here on the video. So that way, if you need any information, you will have some. So thank you guys. Oh, before I forget, my husband wants you to remember that I do have a book called Journey to Freedom. It also deals with domestic situations and families. You can also get it from Amazon, and yeah, so make sure you get your copy. So until next time, guys, remember to love, pray, and be that beacon of light for the world to see. Bye, guys.
He made those. He getting worship in the heavens by the angels. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He feed the birds of the heaven, he'll feed you. When you was broke, he paid your bills when they was overdue. I put my trust in God, y'all be believing you. I put my trust in God.
Because when my husband is preaching, we do the live feed, and I'll be like, he'll say something, I'm like, did you just say that? And then after church, I'll be like, did y'all hear him say that? And they're like, no, we didn't even hear. I'm like, how did you not hear him say that in the message? In the message, he said that. Right. And they're like, no, we didn't even hear. I'm like, well, when you watch the sermon later on in the week, you're going to hear where he said blah, blah, blah. And like,
I trust in God because he delivered me from addiction. I was sick in my sin, his love is my prescription. What kind of man forgive his killers at his crucifixion? So I had to doubt of myself, I guess it's the benediction. My trust in God remove me from the devil's jurisdiction. You say you trust him, but you're stressing, that's a contradiction. If faith's your gun, trust is your ammunition. Be efficient of men is the greatest commission. You put your trust in tradition and have you out of position. When your trust in him is solid, bump the opposition.